Guys, welcome back to another video here on the channel. And you know, this video is going to be about something a little different. As you guys know, in one of my past live streams, I think it was Friday, I talked about missing like certain things from the past, rather be like cartoons or places I used to go as a kid. So I just figured I'd talk a little bit more about this kind of stuff. So as you guys know, I am very fond of memories and nostalgia from the past. I still collect things like the GameCube. I have a PS4, a Xbox 360, for like older games. And it's like, I'd say this, like, even though I don't touch or play on those systems anymore, sometimes I do, like there'll be once in a while I'll be like, man, I miss Rampage. I'll hook up the GameCube, play Total Rampage Destruction or Rampage Total Destruction, whatever it was called. I think it was just Total Destruction. World Tour I'll play on my computer. I'll go in the web browser, I'll end up playing it, like stuff like that. I grew up with those games, and it's very, very special to me. It's something I grew up with and had a good time with, you know what I mean? So, as you know, I'm all about memories. Cartoons I grew up with, Johnny Bravo, you could probably find it online somewhere, but as to where, I wouldn't know, because I don't really look, Like, I wish you could just find them on the streaming apps like Amazon Prime or Netflix. The fact you have to go through, a needle in a haystack just to find these old programs, even Courage the Cowardly Dog, is just ridiculous, And it's stuff I grew up with. As you guys know, I used to go to things like Blockbusters. I know they still got arcades out there. They got libraries still, which is a W, but what I'm saying to you guys is there's just so many things I miss from the past that I grew up with, you know what I mean, that I wish would come back. Like certain things, like old systems, like I wish certain old games would come back. Like I will say this. Recently, they came out with a game that was on the Nintendo 64. Recently. And the name of that game they put on Game Pass is Heretic and Hexen. And I've been playing that off stream, having fun with it. I'll show you guys it in the Xbox app. So here it is right here. I didn't get to play this on the 64 because, back then I didn't know about it, didn't know what it was about. Didn't know it was published by Bethesda. Maybe it was by another company too, but I don't know. But it's good to see that they're bringing back old games to a point, remastering them. Like, I give them W's. However, like other games I want to see come back is like Rampage and all that other stuff, which I don't know if they can because of Midway Games being gone now. But, I guess all you can do is hope, you know what I mean? But I guess what I'm saying, everyone, is like, it's okay to miss things, like rather it be Blockbuster or things that used to be around, like certain bookstores. Like I remember Borders I used to go into. I remember there was a FYE I used to go to all the time. um Kmart, which don't exist anymore. um you know like just basically things I ended up growing up with, you know what I mean? Just things from the past. And I think it's okay to miss things, especially from your childhood. So, yeah, like honestly, like it never hurts to, think of the things you grew up with and to hold on to those things. And it's never a bad thing. So, yeah, I miss Blockbuster in some aspects. I do go to arcades still. I love that they have retro game stores. You can always, like, I know there's one downtown where I live. I can always visit to relive the classics of certain games. Like, granted, yes, they're high in price, but what do you expect? That's retro gaming nowadays, especially with old systems, becoming older hardware now. But I feel like in some ways, like, some of those games were simpler because you could just pop the disc in and play the games. Like, everything is so online nowadays. It's like, that's like one of the drawbacks. And, I just had to say just what was on my mind about everything I grew up with. And I remember, like, going to Kmart's as a kid. I'm just talking about anything and everything in this video, like everything nostalgic, like Kmart, Blockbuster, video games, cartoons, that you don't see anymore. Classic wrestling matches, but they can't wrestle anymore because they got older, or or they passed away, like things like that. But it's just, a lot of things change over time. The older you get, the more you just have to, just be okay with it, and I've accepted change for what it is. I've moved on. I mainly play my games on PC and Xbox Series X nowadays, and like, I will say games are convenient. The only downsides is, yes, you have to download them now, and then there's always some kind of updates, which is kind of a drawback. I don't know if it's beneficial, if it's not beneficial. I don't freaking know. Like, I just started, dealing with this stuff years later after the Xbox 360. And so much has either changed for the good or for the bad. But that's the old digital future we're living in now. And, things just in general, like movies are now digital, games, and like it or not, guys, that's just how it is. But I will say this, we have come a long way in some aspects. Remember videotapes? Oh, those were bad. Because I remember watching videotapes and how the videotapes would always mess up the movies. So, I guess, that's all I'm trying to say. Like, that's where we have come far. Like, DVDs, like them. Videotapes and cassette tapes, maybe not so much, but it was cool making a mixtape and a mix CD back in the day, which was, cool, listening to your favorite jams and stuff, you know what I mean? So, anyways, I know I rambled a lot in this video, reminiscing about the past. I like technology nowadays, but sometimes it kind of makes me mad too. Like, I'll give an instance. OBS crashes. Like, I was trying to make new vertical scenes for you guys, like for the live streams, and then that crashed. I don't know why it crashes sometimes, but other than that, it doesn't give me much problems. It's like every time I go to add new scenes or whatever, then it's like Nope. But anyways, I'll wrap this video up by saying I miss things from the past, chat. Well, here, I'm not even live streaming. I don't know why I'm saying chat. Well, folks. It shows you I'm used to being a live streamer. I'm not big, like, but I'm working on doing more videos, and sometimes I will slip up and say chat, even though, you know, I'm mainly a live streamer. But anyways, besides the slip up, all I'm trying to get across is it's okay to miss things from the past, and you know, this is just the world we live in now, and you just gotta roll with the punches, as they say. So thank you everyone for watching this video. Thank you for hearing me ramble a little bit. You know, I thought this would be a good topic to talk about, because I know I'm not the only one that misses nostalgia. I've been seeing these videos a lot on YouTube about things from the 90s that you don't see anymore, like the Pokemon bouncy balls. They used to have like Pikachu in it, and a rubber ball, and Charmander, and all this other stuff. Like, you can always browse YouTube shorts and you can see them all the time. And I just thought I would just talk more about that. Yeah, even Pokemon, man, nostalgia there for me. I grew up with Dragon Ball Z, you know, all this stuff. Was I a big fan of Dragon Ball Z? Maybe I didn't get into it as much, but I remember seeing the episodes. But anyways, I'm done rambling. I do this a lot. I just had so much on my chest I had to get off. And, you know, there'll be more videos like this coming. So, you know, keep an eye out for the uploads. And I love you guys, man. Thank you guys so much for the support. Like, it means a lot to me. You know, I'm just a small YouTuber, well, YouTube partner, just entertaining you guys and making the best out of things. You know, I just play games, I stream, and I just like having a good time, and you know, I'm glad you guys have a good time too. But anyways, if you did get this far, be sure to hit the like and subscribe if you're new here around the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one.